This is the Brad Pitt versus Post Malone Rosé Wine Challenge. I'm actually kind of excited about this, to put these two wines side by side and see who makes the best wine, Brad Pitt or Post Malone. So, in doing the research for the show, I found out a lot about Chateau Miraval, which is where Miraval is made. Chateau Miraval is where Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt got married, and they actually bought the chateau and then started making wine afterwards. Miraval Studios is actually inside this chateau, and it's very famous. The former owner was a jazz musician in France. He created a studio and it became very, very famous. The likes of Pink Floyd actually recorded there, and there's been many, many, many recordings over the years in that studio. It's pretty famous. Didn't know about that. So anyway, since the divorce, Brad Pitt now owns half of the winery, but he owns half of it with Stoli, the same group that owns Stoli Vodka. They bought out Angelina Jolie. I guess she didn't want to be part of the chateau any longer. And then we have Maison No. 9, which is Post Malone's stab at a rosé. This actually isn't from Provence. Miraval is from Provence, which is a pretty famous region for rosé wines. This is from the Mediterranean IGP, which is a broader area. They get, I think, a lot more grapes from outside of Provence. So we don't have an exact Provence to Provence rosé here, but we do have French rosé to French rosé competition here. I couldn't find out what grapes were in this wine. They just said the winemaker has several 90-point rosé wines, and he selected from the best grapes in southern France. Over here, we have a lot of Cinsault grapes and a lot of Grenache grapes in this rosé. So how are we going to do this competition? Not going to do a blind tasting here, only because I think the normal consumer doesn't buy their wine based only on a blind tasting. It's all of it, right? We walk down the shopping aisles and we pick a wine that catches our eye. You get that label that just for some reason speaks to you. And that's part of the wine buying process. And so I'm going to take all things into consideration here. We're going to give out 5 points. Whoever gets the most points wins. We're giving a point for packaging. We're giving a point for how it looks in the glass. And then we're going to give a point for how it smells on the nose. But most importantly, we're giving 2 points for the one that tastes the best. So that's how we're going to do this competition. And let's just dive right into it, shall we? Let's talk about the packaging. Both pretty unique. If you have a wine refrigerator at home, both of these are going to frustrate the heck out of you because they won't fit in your wine refrigerator. This is kind of the stubby, low-end version. I've seen this for many years. I actually hadn't seen Post Malone's bottle before, so this is the first time I hadn't seen it. Very sleek, tall look. I actually really like it. I'm going to give the best packaging to the sleek, tall look. I like that a lot better than the short, little stubby look. That's just me. I like that better. But let's talk about how it looks in the glass. First of all, you will notice side by side, hopefully that comes through on the camera, that the Miraval is much lighter in color. So there's a little bit probably more time on the grape skins themselves here than what they're doing at Miraval and Brad Pitt's wine. So we're seeing a little bit more color. Also, if I give it a little spin, I'm seeing it's coming off of the glass pretty quickly, which we would expect in a rosé. This is kind of high level as far as rosé goes in alcohol. This is 12.5%. They're both exactly the same, 12.5% alcohol. But this is just a pretty rosé. Light in color, comes right off the glass, doesn't really have what we call tears in the business. Sometimes you'll see the word legs. Really doesn't have significant tears or legs. So it's just kind of, you'd already expect it to be a crisp, clean wine. Let's take a look over here and give this a spin. we're seeing the same thing. This just drapes off the glass. It's coming down very smoothly. This rosé is a little bit darker in color. I'm just going to be honest. This is total personal preference. I like the more pale color in my rosé than the darks. Usually the darks, they do have a little bit more, not really tannins, because it's not tannins, but they have a little bit of bite in my experience that I don't necessarily appreciate as much as kind of a more clean cut, clear, just easy drinking wine that I expect in a rosé. So I'm gonna go with this lighter color here. I think that's the one that I like. It looks better in the glass. Let's give the nose a go. Oh, right off the bat, this is strawberries. A little bit of rhubarb on that, but comes off already as tart on the nose. You can tell that's probably going to have a high acid level, of course. You know, and these grapes are picked at a pretty high acid level. It's just crisp. It's clean. I'm not seeing any faults. Smells pretty nice. Give this a go. This gets a little more citrusy than this one. It's still not overly floral. It's not a very strong smelling. This is actually a little more intensity. But overall, I think I got to give it to Post Malone on the nose. So if I'm calculating right and I'm keeping track, we're now at 2 for Post Malone and 1 for Brad Pitt. How's this going to go? Well, of course, we're going to find out on the taste. So let's give Brad Pitt's Rosé, the Miraval, a taste. That is a good wine. That is crisp. It is clean. Pretty good amount of citrus there mixed in with some strawberry. This is the proverbial patio pounder for sure. Sit out on your patio on a hot day, or, you know, if you're cruising on a cruise ship in the middle of the Mediterranean, maybe they'll have a bottle of this on your boat. I would recommend it. Comes off just really, really clean. Let's give this a go. Just like the intensity of the color, this is a little bit more intensity in the flavor. And it does have just a hint of bite to it, is what I'll describe it as. And so not quite as refreshing and clean as Brad Pitt's. This has got a little more flavor profile to it. Definitely has strawberries, but a little bit of that antiseptic taste, or I think some people say hair salon. Just a little bit of a bite there that for me is a little offsetting. I'm not a lover of this wine. So I'm gonna give 2 points to Brad Pitt's wine. Taste over Post Malone. And I'm kind of bummed that I can't give a win to Post Malone, because you know he just went country, and you know that definitely puts him high on my list. So I really wanted to give the win to Post Malone, but looks like Brad Pitt just eked him out in the Rosé Wine Challenge with 3 points out of 5. So go get yourself a bottle of Miraval. By the way, just a final conclusion, not paid by either one. No promos here. This is actually just something we did to see which one would win our hearts and souls. So go with the Miraval. So congratulations to Brad Pitt. Glad he kept his half of the Chateau, and he keeps making these great wines. I'm gonna say so long for this episode. Please make sure you subscribe. It helps us keep going and do more of these episodes. Hopefully we'll come up with another battle soon. This was a lot of fun. And don't forget, you can follow me on Vine Gypsy. It's a free app that you can actually download and track all the wine tasting notes for all of my stops, and catch me on the wine trail, because I'm going to all 50 states. Don't forget, we're going to get to all 50 states and see a vineyard in each one. I'm going to say so long for now. I hope I get to see you somewhere on the wine trail.